made an innocent joke at the pool about a kid looking like me. And now my former college roommate showed up at 7 a.m. to confess she's loved me for 15 years. My wife and I have a 5-year-old son, and most of our social gatherings now revolve around family-friendly activities. It's not the same as the wild college days, but there's comfort in seeing our kids grow up together, even as we approach 40. Emma, one of my college roommates, is part of this circle. Back in the day, we were inseparable, sharing everything from late-night study sessions to heartbreaks over failed relationships. But time and life have a way of changing things. Emma got married, had kids, and while we drifted apart, we remained friendly, seeing each other at group events. Her husband, Dave, was always cordial but never overly friendly with me. I chalked it up to differing personalities and didn't think much of it. One sunny weekend, my wife and I decided to take our son to the local pool. We packed a bag full of water toys, something I always did to encourage our son to share and make friends. As an only child, I didn't want him growing up without learning to interact with other kids. That morning, Emma texted me. Her husband was out of town, and she was looking for something to do with her kids. I mentioned our pool plans and told her she could join us anytime. We arrived early and set up by the shallow end, where our son could play safely. Soon, another child from his kindergarten class joined us, along with his mother. The kids played happily while I kept an eye on them, occasionally pretending to be defeated in their water gun world domination game. When Emma showed up with her kids, the energy shifted slightly. She seemed excited to see me and quickly joined the fun. Her kids fit right in, and everything seemed normal until one small comment changed everything. As I handed a toy to the other boy, Emma chuckled and said, "Oh my God, he looks just like you." It was a harmless joke, and I laughed, replying, "Well, he's not my kid." The resemblance was uncanny, which made it funny at the time. When my wife returned, I shared the story, and we all laughed about it. Little did I know that this seemingly innocent exchange would lead to chaos. Months passed, and I forgot all about the pool joke. At a group gathering, as I was juggling toys, leftovers, and other items, I ran into Dave. Trying to lighten the mood, I made a call back to the pool story, jokingly asking him to make sure the kid with me was actually mine. His reaction was unexpected. He looked at me, confused and slightly angry, and asked what I meant. I retold the pool story, thinking he'd find it funny. Instead, the atmosphere grew tense. Emma stood nearby, silent and uncomfortable. Sensing I might have overstepped, I awkwardly excused myself. Later, I texted Emma to apologize and check in, but she didn't respond. Days turned into weeks, and I began to feel uneasy. What had I done wrong? The breaking point came at an engagement party for mutual friends. My wife stayed home with our son, and I decided to attend last minute. Emma was there, and the moment she saw me, her demeanor changed. She looked furious. Before I could say anything, she launched into a tirade, accusing me of ruining her marriage. In front of everyone, she claimed my joke had stirred up issues between her and Dave. Apparently, my comment reminded Dave of an incident in his family where infidelity had led to a child whose paternity was questioned. Dave thought Emma had told me this sensitive story and that I was mocking him. The argument had spiraled into accusations, and their marriage had crumbled. I was stunned. I tried to explain that I knew nothing about their family history and that the joke had been innocent. But the damage was done. Emma stormed off, leaving me embarrassed and confused. The party devolved into whispers and side conversations, and I left shortly after, apologizing to the host for the scene. Desperate to fix things, I reached out to Emma again. This time she replied, agreeing to meet and talk. What she revealed left me speechless. Emma admitted that she had feelings for me back in college. She had hoped our close friendship would evolve into something more, but it never did. When I started dating my now wife, Emma tried to move on, eventually marrying Dave. However, her feelings for me never fully went away. Her husband had always been aware of her past feelings, which explained his coldness toward me. The day at the pool, Emma said, was her way of rebelling against his jealousy. She had intentionally come to see me, knowing it would upset him. But the most shocking revelation was that during their fights, she had lied about having an affair with me. She used me as a scapegoat to deflect from their issues, claiming I was the reason for her unhappiness. This lie snowballed, leading to their separation and tarnishing my reputation among our friends. One morning, Emma showed up at my house unannounced. My wife, ever the pragmatist, told me to hear her out, but warned me to be cautious. Emma apologized for dragging me into her marital problems, but insisted we could still be friends. She claimed I was the only person who truly cared about her. By this point, I was done. I told her our friendship was over and asked her to leave. Her manipulations had caused too much harm, not just to her marriage, but to mine and my relationships with our mutual friends. In the weeks that followed, I worked to clear my name. I shared the truth with close friends, providing evidence of Emma's lies. Some believed me, while others chose to distance themselves. Emma moved out of the neighborhood, and though I felt a twinge of sympathy for her, I knew she was no longer my problem. Through it all, my wife remained my rock. She reminded me that while this ordeal was painful, it revealed who my true friends were. Together, we focused on rebuilding trust within our circle and creating a peaceful life for our family. Looking back, I realize how fragile relationships can be and how easily misunderstandings can escalate. While I regret the unintended consequences of my joke, I'm grateful for the lessons it taught me about boundaries and trust. Emma's actions were hurtful, but they also freed me from a friendship built on deception. Life has a way of testing us, sometimes through the people we least expect. But with the support of those who truly matter, even the most absurd situations can be overcome. As for me, I'm ready to leave this chapter behind and focus on the future, with my wife, my son, and the friends who stood by me.